Evening guys and girls, and welcome back to Ange Gaming. Today we're going to be taking a look at the class changes for the Warrior coming with Legion and patch 7.0. Warriors are seeing slight changes all over the board, but mainly one of the most important things that they're seeing is a lot of they'll be taking out a lot of the different abilities from your basic abilities on each of the specs, and they'll be adding a lot of different talents towards each of the different classes to be able to use. And what's really cool is that we'll be seeing a lot of old favorites come back, such as Overpower, Heroic Strike, Opportunity Strikes, and some of the classics are returning, such as Avatar, Dragon Roar, and Stormbolt. And they've got a host of brand new talents apparently that they're going to be bringing in, so we'll see a lot of customizability with the Warrior as soon as 7.0 hits, which I'm really looking forward to, as it's looking quite cool. Firstly, we're going to take a little bit of a look at Arms Warriors. They've decided that Arms Warriors are basically, at the base of it, they really do work well with their current style of gameplay, but what they're trying to do is, in their words, add more flavor. In Legion, what they've decided to do was open up a wider variety of potential gameplay styles based mainly on your talent choices, as we've just discussed. They've also replaced their mastery with Colossal Might, which increases the effectiveness of Colossal Smash, playing into their theme more directly. As before, Arms Warriors' rage generation will come from their auto attacks. While we haven't had a chance to look at a lot of the talents, we will go through one. However, they do have their basic core abilities, and while it doesn't seem like they have much in terms of their core abilities, that's mainly because of how they're trying to bring in a lot of talents to customize the gameplay. So let's just dive straight into them and take a look at them. First up, we have Mortal Strike, which is 20 rage melee range, a vicious strike that deals strong physical damage and reduces the effectiveness of healing on the target for 10 seconds. They also have Slam, 15 range melee range instant, slam an opponent causing moderate physical damage. Then we have Colossus Smash, melee range and instant, with a 45-second cooldown, smashes the enemy's armor, dealing massive physical damage and increasing the damage you deal to them by 20% for 6 seconds. Then Execute, 10 rage, melee range and instant, attempt to finish off a foe, causing strong physical damage to the target and consuming up to 30 additional rage to deal up to massive additional damage. Only usable on enemies that have less than 20%. As far as I can tell, all the different specs for Warriors will have Execute. Next we have Tactician, which is the first passive. It's a Slam, Whirlwind, and Execute have a 20% chance to per target hit to reset the cooldown on Colossus Smash. And then taking a look at the new Mastery, Colossal Might, increases the damage of your Colossus Smash by 50% and causes it to increase damage taken by an additional 50%. And then a quick look at one of the ARM-specific talents. We have Titanic Might. It's a passive, and it increases the duration of Colossus Smash by 200%, but halves its effectiveness. So we'll have to see how that talent plays out in the beta. Unfortunately, due to the fact that we haven't been able to take a look at the talent list, there's not really much to say about ARMS, except for the fact that Colossus Smash seems to be playing a huge role moving forward in Legion. Other than that, it's looking quite cool, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they display with their talents as soon as they release what we can do with them. Now taking a look at the Fury spec. What they've said is that the Fury spec is thematically grandiose in their take of the classic warrior archetype, and in Legion what they're trying to do is make that gameplay convey that better, and they want to help deliver that on that fantasy of a kind of relentless death dealer. So what they've done is they've bolstered the gameplay around quickly building rage and then going wild with rampage. In particular, one of the things that's quite cool to see is range is now considerably more powerful, doubling your attack speed and of course with that your rage generation, and along with that increasing damage based on mastery. Similar to ARMS, a multitude of talents options will be available for your combat abilities in a wide variety of ways, so there's definitely also, as well as it was with ARMS, a huge emphasis on the talent building and how you're going to build up your own playstyle. So let's just quickly take a look at the different core abilities. There aren't many. The first one is Bloodthirst, melee range instance with a 4.5 second cooldown. Attack the target in a bloodthirsty craze, dealing moderate physical damage, generating 10 rage, and restoring 5% of your health. Bloodthirst has an additional 40% chance to be a critical strike. Then we have Enrage, the passive. Bloodthirst, critical strikes, or activating Berserker Rage will enrage you, increasing attack speed by 100% and damage taken by 30% for 6 seconds. So a slight increase in the attack speed, and still you taking a little bit extra damage during that time. Then we have in Rampage, 10 rage, melee range, instant. A mighty blow with both weapons that deals a total of strong physical damage, and it is only usable while you're enraged. Then we have Raging Blow, 50 rage, melee range, and instant. Unleash a series of 5 brutal strikes over 2 seconds for a total of massive physical damage. Rampage always deals damage as if you were enraged. Then we have Execute, 30 rage, melee range, instant. Attempt to finish off a foe, causing a total of massive physical damage, only usable on enemies that have less than 20% health, so pretty much exactly the same as arms. Then we're taking a look at their mastery, still the same as before. Unshackled Fury increases damage done while enraged by 28% with mastery from typical gear. And additionally, they have given us one of the talents to be able to see, and that's called Frenzy, with 15 rage, melee range, and instant. Furiously slash at the target, dealing moderate physical damage and increasing your haste by 5% for 10 seconds, and this will stack up to 5 times. And like arms, we really can't tell too much about how this spec is going to turn out until we see the different types of talents that come out and if we get to play with it in the beta. However, it is looking very cool. It's looking very true to the Fury Warrior archetype, so that's really cool to see. And now we're going to take a look at Protection. Protection gameplay ties strongly to the warrior lore and exemplifies the very foundation of what the tank role is supposed to be in the game. So they've decided to primarily focus on the fine-tuning of those mechanics, and because of that we see a lot of the different abilities that they'll be using here, and I think that by the looks of things the talents are going to be more of sort of a flavor adder to the different types of the spec. So basically what we do know is that they've replaced Shield Barrier with a new ability called Ignore Pain, which massively reduces damage taken. It's depending on your maximum health, and that will function as one of your primary defensive rage spenders. It doesn't compete as much with Shield Block, and thus is going to provide you with distinct tools in your arsenal to apply to different types of situations. And also in terms of rage generation, what they've decided to do now is that the primary way in which you'll generate rage is through taking the damage, and it'll be supplemented by a baseline rage income from ability usage. This plays well with the Ignore Pain as their primary rage spender, and it's also useful when you're going to be taking a lot of damage, which is also when you'll have a lot of rage to use on these different abilities. So let's take a look at the different core abilities, and there are quite a few to get through. Firstly, in terms of the offensive ones, we have Devastate, melee range and instant, a direct strike dealing moderate physical damage, and it has a 30% chance to reset the cooldown on Shield Slam. Then we have Revenge, melee range, instant, 9-second cooldown, swing in a wide arc dealing strong damage to all enemies in front of you and generating 4 rage. Your successful dodges and parries reset the cooldown of Revenge, but this cannot occur more than once every 3 seconds. Then we have Deep Wounds, which is a passive. Your Devastate and Revenge cause the target to bleed for strong physical damage over 15 seconds. This effect is cancelled if the target reaches full health. Then you have Thunderclap, instant 6-second cooldown, blasts all enemies within 8 yards for moderate damage and reduces their movement speed by 50% for 10 seconds. Then Shield Slam, melee range, instant, 9-second cooldown, slam the target with your shield causing strong physical damage and generating 6 rage. Then we have Heroic Strike, which is 30 rage, melee range, instant, instantly deals moderate physical damage. This ability is now not on a global cooldown. Then taking a look at the defensive abilities, we've got Shield Block, which is 10 rage, instant, 12-second recharge, and you get 2 charges for it. Raise your shield, blocking every melee attack against you for 6 seconds. These blocks can be critical blocks. Shield Slam deals 30% additional damage while Shield Block is active. Then you have Ignore Pain, which is 40 rage and instant. Fight through the pain, ignoring 90% of the next massive amount based on maximum health of damage you take. Spell Reflection is instant, 25-second cooldown. Raise your shield, reflecting spells cast on you and reducing magic damage taken by 30%. Lasts for 5 seconds or until a spell is reflected. Then take a looking at the Mastery, which is Critical Block. Increases your chance to block by 10% with Mastery from typical gear, and your chance to critically block by 30% with Mastery from typical gear. Also increases your attack power by 20%. with mastery from typical gear. My god, I'm saying that a lot. And then quickly taking a look at one of the protection specific talents, we have Shield Discipline, which is a passive. Shield Slam extends the duration of shield block by 2 seconds. Shield Block increases the damage of Shield Slam by an additional 30%. So it seems like with that talent, Shield Block and Shield Slam will be working a lot more in cohesion with each other. Not much to say about protection spec, however what I can say about it is that they're definitely bringing a lot more of different situation kind of abilities into it. So they're very situational. It depends on exactly on what is happening at the time, which I think most tanks will be happy to see with this build. And that's it for the warrior and all the changes to the different specs. Let me know your own views on what's happening in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time with the next class preview.